amount proposed was about 780 million pula. The same list was shared with aggregates across the globe to see where we could land in terms of price. And we landed on average at about 80 million pula.
South Africa's former African National Congress Party's national spokesperson Pule Mabe and 6 others are expected to appear in court this morning. Mabe, his wife and 5 others are facing charges ranging from fraud, corruption and assisting another to benefit from proceeds of unlawful activities. The charges stem from the investigation conducted by the Special Investigating Unit and the Directorate for Priority Crimes Investigations into a tender that was allegedly unlawfully awarded to Mabe's company in March 2017 to supply 203-wheeled waste collection vehicles known as tuk-tuks. Lerato Makola explains.
Former African National Congress national spokesperson Pule Mabe is also accused of allegedly demanding a further 9 million rand for safekeeping, storage and ancillary services relating to the goods. However, he has pleaded his innocence, saying it was not a crime for an ANC member to do business with the state.
The South African Cemeteries Association has concluded its biennial conference in Johannesburg this week. In a country where land, heritage and sustainability are constant talking points, the future of the country's cemeteries is entering a new era. Having partnered with the city of Johannesburg, Johannesburg Parks and the Johannesburg Zoo, the conference explored bold new ideas under the theme Eternal Evolution, transforming for sustainability. Head of Cemeteries Management in Cape Town, Susan Bryce, explains how urban cemeteries are now adapting to land shortages and the threat of climate change.
Land shortages is really the critical aspect. What we have been promoting is obviously alternative options, and we are advocating for the reuse of family graves for other members of your family to be buried in the same grave in private graves. So what we call a reopening of an existing family grave.
In response to the recent ruling by South Africa's Constitutional Court ruling regarding the burial of Zambia's 6th President, Dr. Edgar Lungu, the Zambian government has issued a formal statement. Speaking through its secretary to the cabinet, Patrick Kangwa, the government acknowledged the court's decision and reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring a dignified farewell for the late president.
The government of the Republic of Zambia has taken note of the Constitutional Court of South Africa's ruling concerning the burial of the 6th President, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. On behalf of the government, we want to thank the court for its timely consideration of the matter. While the government respects the court's decision, it remains committed to working with Dr. Lungu's family to reach an arrangement that takes into consideration the family's wishes and interests, but also takes into account the rights of the government. Our position is unchanged. The late president deserves a dignified funeral in keeping the stature of his office.
Lastly, thousands of Israeli protesters have rallied in Tel Aviv and other cities in support of families of hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. The rally follows a day of protests in which highways were blocked and crowds marched to the home of government ministers. They surrounded the office of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as a security cabinet meeting took place there. A father of a hostage, Nimrod Cohen, stated his demand.
They started off with an unfurling of a huge banner outside the US Embassy branch in Tel Aviv. On the beach there, a huge Israeli flag with pictures of the 50 remaining hostages. And then during the morning commute, many people on their way to work would have had their cars held up, particularly around Tel Aviv on the main roads, protesters blocking the roads. Tens of thousands of people said to be taking part in different actions across the country, and they're expecting a big rally in Hostages Square in Tel Aviv later.
Channel Africa News, I am Oneli Tsinsi.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
And
coming up in your sports news this hour, South Africa's Bach women believe power game will reap rewards while Iga Swiatek advances to the second round of the US Open. I'll have details of these and other stories at 8:30.
Wake up, Africa. Peter Ndoro and Asanda Beda are here to help you rise and shine. Weekdays, 6 till 9 a.m. Central African Time. Only on Channel Africa.
All right, it's a Wednesday, a day that we dedicate to shining the spotlight on Africans doing great things for the continent. And today we take a slight shift and look at what it means to be a black African woman in a newsroom in South Africa, a paper delivered by award-winning journalist Bongekile Maquphe. She analyzes why it is that black African women make up the majority in newsrooms, yet are absent from senior editorial positions. Bongekile Maquphe is the Deputy Politics Editor at News 24, South Africa's biggest online publication, and she now joins us on the line. Bongekile, thank you for joining us. How are you this Wednesday?
I am well, thank you, Asanda, and how are you and your listeners? And good morning to you and your listeners.
Good morning, and thanks for making time for us to chat to us about this, a bit about yourself as well as the paper. But firstly, let's start on the fact that the paper came about as a result of you being fellow at the University of Oxford for the study of journalism under the Reuters Institute. How did that come about? Let's get to know you a bit better.
Okay, so Media 24 is in partnership with the Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism, and each year then there is an opportunity for the employees of Media 24 to then apply to go to the Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism. So the opportunity came, actually, Asanda, the opportunity came in 2021. I had applied, and obviously with the same topic, so you have to have like a topic in mind or what you are going to be doing in the 3 months that you are there, and then you submit that. So I submitted it and I was called for an interview. I did the interview with the directors of the institute and some of the managers in my company. But unfortunately, I didn't make it, even though I had thought I had done well in my interview and I believed strongly in the project that I wanted to do. I didn't make it. That was okay. And then I still worked at the City Press at the time. And I then joined News 24 in January of 2023. And then fast forward, the advert again to apply came out, but this time around, that was last year. I ignored it because I thought, I had gone through this process and nothing came of it. I was just thinking that maybe I will do my master's and try and explore this while I am doing my master's, or I'll find alternative ways of how I can get this out, in a larger scale. But I think or 2 days or 3 days before that process closed, the head of training at Media 24 then contacted me and asked me to please apply and use my same proposal. I did the same, and I got called for an interview, did the interview, and I got in. And so I then, in April, I left for Oxford, and I was there until the 1st of August, and I came back. And while I was there, then I was working on this project and doing other things that form part of the fellowship.
Awesome. Great journey there. So why did you decide on this particular topic?
First and foremost, I am a Black African woman journalist who has been working in newsrooms in South Africa for the past 15 years. And I had been observing, some of these things that I explore in my paper. For example, when I was still like a very young, new journalist entering the newsroom where I began my career at the Star, seeing these strong and formidable Black African women journalists, the likes of Solima Pumulo, who really inspired me a lot. I looked up to her, was doing great things. And at some point in her career, she decided to take a detour and go work for one of the major Sunday newspapers. And she didn't stay there for long, because when she got there, really her work was minimized instead of continuing with being an investigative journalist, which is why she was, approached in the first place, because she was a great investigative journalist. She got there, and I remember, her being made to